Hi everyone, welcome back. This is week 26 of my social isolation Get Ready With Me's, which means that we have hit the half-year mark. I have been at home, working from home and social isolation and all that for 6 months now. Whew. Okay, so this week I absolutely forgot to ask people on Instagram what they wanted to see, and I was feeling kind of vampy myself. Now looking at the background combined with my shirt, I'm starting to blend into it. I wanted to go a little bit darker, a little bit more vampy, so I'm going to be using the Muerte palette by Melt, and I kind of want to go a little bit more goth. Now, I am very unsuccessful when it comes to doing goth makeup. I think with my blonde hair, it just never really looks quite right. So we're gonna go with like dark lips, dark eyes, but somehow I feel like it's not gonna look as vampy as I want it to be. Anyway, we're gonna give it a shot. I love this palette to pieces. If you haven't seen it, that is the inside. It is one of the most unique color combinations that I have ever seen in an eyeshadow palette. And we're mostly gonna be sticking with like this dark gray here and then like the reds over here. I feel like I've been doing a lot of red looks lately, and I'm sorry if it feels repetitive, but I'm just really feeling the color right now. And with today, I wanna go a little bit red, dark, vampy. I mean, even with my nails, like I'm just loving this kind of dark color right now. Actually, this is a new OPI color. I have it here. It's from their Milan collection that just got released. It's called Complementary Wine. It looks, how am I gonna show the color? It's a very dark red. You could apply one coat and it's a little bit, it's not opaque, but it'll look a little bit more red. If you apply two, like what I've got here, it's very, very dark. I will have a blog post of that new OPI collection coming up on my blog shortly. I just swatched and photographed them all this past weekend. And thankfully, one of my nails held on because this little pinky guy snapped off immediately after. I had a huge crack in it and I was like, please, please just last so I can take photos of all the nail polishes. And it lasted, and that was good. So last week I only put up one video because as I was going to edit my second video, I realized that I had lipstick all over my teeth. And I can't stand watching videos where people have lipstick on their teeth. Because sometimes when you're filming, frankly, you just don't notice. So I scrapped all the footage from that, which was a little bit annoying because it feels like so much wasted time to film something and then just never put it up. But c'est la vie. I just find it so distracting. I see it in other people's videos every now and then, and I'm like, oh, you should have just deleted the footage. I know not everybody feels that way, but for me, I can't stop staring at their teeth if there's lipstick on them. Okay, so as I said earlier, I want to stick with the reds and then use this dark charcoal color too. I think I'm going to start off with Corazon, I think that's how you pronounce that, through the crease. All of my makeup brushes are Duo Clean, and I'm desperately trying to use the least dirty ones in there. Ugh. Okay, so this is on a fluffy brush, and I'm just going to buff that through the crease. This palette was limited edition, but I think it was still in stock on Sephora Canada a few months ago. I don't know if it's still available though. This is definitely like my favorite palette of 2020. I basically stopped buying most stuff now, but I got this at the beginning of the year and such a knockout. Such an interesting color combination, something I never expected to see in a palette really, and I found it so inspirational when I started using it. Okay, for the lower crease, I'm going to take Velorio, put that here. So I finally caved and decided to try out Spotify. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this recently, because I was going for walks in the morning, which has been on and off, and I was like, okay, like I can't just keep listening to my running playlist over and over again. Because it gets so repetitive. So I tried out Spotify, listened to a few songs on there. I was like, okay, I don't really know how this works, because I was wanting to discover like new music. And then I think it was the next week after I'd listened to a few songs where it was giving me like a Discover playlist, and I clicked on it and it was like immediately tailored to my taste. I couldn't believe it. It brought up old songs from like the late 90s, early zeros of like heavy metal, not heavy metal then, but like heavy new metal and like heavy alt rock. And I was like, oh my God, this is great. And then it started introducing me to new bands that were still playing that kind of music. And I was like, oh, this is the best thing ever. So I've discovered some new bands through that Spotify discovery thing, and I'm so excited because I feel like the bulk of my music tastes pretty much died in like the mid zeros kind of thing, and now I just keep going back to those because I know that's what I still like, and not a lot of music is really coming out now. Like there's not a lot of radio stations that play heavy alternative music anymore. So when I was discovering all these things through Spotify, I was so excited. I'm trying to think of the band names now. One of them was called Slaves, which not a great name, but they've actually said recently that they're going to be changing their band name because like it's completely culturally insensitive to have your band name Slaves, frankly. So they said that they're going to change their band name, but like I discovered some songs by them, and there's some other bands in there too that are just not coming to mind right now, and I am so excited to be listening to new music. Okay, so I want the lid to be mostly quite dark, but I still want to put a little bit more red in there, so I'm going to take a Sangre here on a flat shader brush and put that on the inner, I guess we're going to do inner half. In practice, Sangre and Velorio here look pretty similar. I mean, there's a bit more redness to Sangre, but I don't think very many people would ever notice that. Okay, now to make this totally dark, we're going to be taking Panteon on a fluffier brush and putting that on the outer corner here. And it's a really dark charcoal, but honestly, I always think it comes across as black. I'm just gonna pat that through my crease. I really like that color. Like the whole look together. I remember a time when red eyeshadow was like not a thing. You couldn't get it anywhere. The first red eyeshadow I ever got was by Inglot. I remember getting it in like, I think we were in Dublin, Ireland. And I was so excited. And then I think it was the year after I got that shadow that the Modern Renaissance palette finally came out. And then that's when red finally became popular in makeup. But like before that, red eyeshadow, non-existent. Couldn't get it. I mean, maybe there were some like makeup artistry brands that had it, but certainly nothing that was relatively mainstream. And I just really fell in love with red eyeshadow. Brow bone highlight, of course, going in with my Wet n Wild Brule single. Just putting a very small amount of liner on my lash line because I'm going to be putting falsies on, but this look really does not need a wing. Okay, let's do face before we return to the eyes. I had to clean up fallout because black and red just got everywhere. For foundation, I'm so bad at this. I'm going to use the CYO Long Lasting Foundation. This is a Lifeproof one. This is in the shade 102. Another discontinued brand. I feel like all the brands that I like foundation from just end up discontinuing their products. So I went over to Julie's place last night, and we had just a movie night and a charcuterie board. And it's just great to hang out with her. I think I've mentioned before, but she's the only friend that's actually in my bubble right now. So she's the only person that I can hang out with. But it's nice to see a different face every now and then. So we hung out, we watched some movies. I was feeling very like 80s back to school type movies. So we watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which, you know, a timeless back to school classic. Although I guess they're graduating, so that doesn't really make any sense. Anyway. But we also watched Grease, and everyone's shocked by this, but I had never seen Grease before. It's just one of those things that I missed watching as I was growing up, I guess. And that's not even in the 80s. It's set in like the 50s or 60s. But I posted on Instagram about that, and a few people were like, oh, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And honestly, it's okay, but it's not that amazing. The plot is literally just two people have to get over themselves in order to get back together, I guess. I thought there was going to be a little bit more of a plot line other than just the two of them finding their way back to each other. Because frankly, John Travolta's character was such a douchebag to start. I was like, girl, just ditch him. Like, there's no point. And yeah, I don't know. Some of it doesn't age very well. There's a lot of like jokes about like taking advantage of women, or even some of the lyrics in the famous songs are like, did she put up a fight? Like, ew? Like, how is that a discussion point for, you know, hooking up with a woman? did she put up a fight? Like, you just force yourself on her. So some of it does really not age well, and there's a lot of movies like that over time, that now you listen to the lyrics or the lines in the movie and you're like, that is so rapey and so cringy. So a lot of that kind of took me by surprise just because I wasn't expecting it. But in terms of like, did I love it? It was fine. I mean, I don't think I'd seek out watching it again, but I guess it was good to cross it off my list. I think next time we decided for movie night, we usually do 2 movies in one evening. We decided on Labyrinth and Legend, and I freaking love those movies, and it's been a while since I've watched both of them. I think we'll probably do that like closer to Halloween, which they officially canceled Halloween on Church Street. I've talked about this before, but so I live in the gay village in Toronto, and Church Street gets closed down to the to traffic, and just pedestrians can walk on the street and show off their costumes, and that's what I've done for like the last 7 or 8 years. We've always done group costumes, which is the most exciting thing ever. But it's officially canceled this year because of COVID. So the 2 things that I look forward to the most every year are Pride and Halloween, and they're gone. 2020 sucks, man. I mean, I know we all know that, but jeez. Okay, so foundation done. I'm gonna go in with bronzer, and I'm finally busting back out my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. This thing is hanging on by a hair here. I just have no real opportunity to finish it up. But this is hands down one of my favorite bronzers. I love the smell of it, first of all. I know not everybody's into it, but it just looks seamless. I've always thought that about Physicians Formula's bronzers. They used to have that heart-shaped one. I don't know if they still have it anymore. Well, it was a round pan, but it had hearts like embedded in it. That was the first time I remember trying a bronzer and being like, oh, like this is seamless. And I just always feel like it just blends in so freaking nicely on the face. I really like bronzer in general. I feel like it's fun to like add warmth to my face, but not all of them tend to look that good or that seamless. But the Physicians Formula ones just seem to have the right tone for me and just always look really nice. Okay, so for blush, another fall favorite. Remember these? The Clinique Cheek Pops. This is in the shade Cola Pop. And I remember the first time I bought this, I think a few people mentioned, they're like, how the heck are you gonna wear this color because you're so pale? Honestly, if you apply this lightly, it just looks like a nice flush. I cannot find the brush that I normally use for it, so I'm gonna try something else, which might be a mistake. But yeah, I mean, this can go on pretty strong. So if you apply it, I said lightly, and then look what I did. Okay. You can try to apply it lightly, and then what I'll generally do if it gets too stark is I'll just go over with my beauty blender that still has foundation on it. It can look really nice if you don't go too heavy-handed, which I have unfortunately done just now. But I do like the shade of it too. It's got that like, you know, we always say like you just came in from the cold, like nice warm red cheeks from the frosty outdoors. Look, I don't blush nicely like that at all. I get weird splotches, so this is my best attempt at imitating that look without actually ever looking like that. And yeah, that's still a bit, I think, on this side, so I just blend it out with my sponge. Basically, I'm just covering it up with a little light layer of foundation. Okay, so for highlighter, I don't want anything extreme, and I just recently got gifted this by my friend Julie, who was decluttering a whole bunch of her makeup, so I want to use this because I don't want anything too stark. So this is MAC's Mineralize Skin Finish in the shade Perfect Topping, which was super popular on YouTube quite a few years ago. It looks like she's barely touched this. Yeah, just a little bit of a sheen. Nothing too crazy. Okay, face done, zoom me back in and let's finish up the eyes. So first thing I want to do is tight line both my upper and lower water lines, and for that I'm using the Tarte Sex Kitten eyeliner. This is one of the creamiest eyeliners, and I'm literally just jamming it up there because I want the area between my lashes and the flap of skin that's underneath my lashes to be darker, because I'm so blonde there that gap always really stands out to me, especially when I'm doing like a dark eye look. And I know this kind of freaks people out, and even I find it really ticklish on myself, but I was gonna say you get used to it over time, but honestly, I'm not sure that you do. And then on the lower waterline, I run it between my lashes as well. Got like a teal color on this. I'm just gonna use to blend out the black. And then I really need to clean my brushes this week. So I'm just blending it out here because I just want to rub it between the lashes. Then I'm taking Panteon on that same brush and just rubbing it along that lash line. And then because I want the red to wrap around down here too, which I hope is going to work out, I'm going to take another brush and take Corazon and lightly blend that along the edges. I'm starting with very little on this brush because I don't want it to come down too far. I want a blown out look, but I'm worried about it just traveling too far down. And I'm just using my brow bone highlight brush to blend out the edges here because I want it to be a little bit smoother. There's nothing on it. I'm just literally wiping it off on the Kleenex and then just using it to blend out the edges. Okay, that's pretty much done, except for the inner corner highlights. So I am going to take Calaca here, which is quite bright and quite a gold, and I'm hoping this works out here. Okay, yeah. I'm never really sure what to put on the inner corner of my eye when I'm wearing something this dark. But I guess this one works out. Okay, put some mascara on. That was the Milk Kush mascara. I've got some falsies on, which are the Tarte Center of Attention ones. And then I did my brows with the usual suspects, but just in case anybody wants to know, they are the IT Cosmetics Brow Power in the shade Universal Taupe, Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil in the shade number 2, and Benefit's Gimme Brow also in the shade number 2. Okay, so for lips, I'm keeping it very dark, very vampy. Basically, it's gonna match my nail color. So this is the Kat Von D Everlasting Liquid Lipstick in the shade Damned. Okay, so there we go. That's, I think I did a little bit better at the whole gothiness thing this time. It's funny though, when I close my eyes, it looks quite good to me, but when I open them, I feel like it throws the whole look off because my eyes are just too pale. Like if I had like dark brown eyes, like this would maybe look a little bit better. I don't know, just me. I do really like the Kat Von D Damned liquid lipstick though. I feel like it just really works well for anything kind of vampy like this. It's not a true black. There is some red to it, so it's got a little bit more tone in case you were looking for a dark lip without going completely black. Is anybody else like okay with buying Kat Von D now? Because I completely am. I mean, this lipstick is old. I've had this for a while, but like ever since she has absolutely nothing to do with the brand now, I have no issues throwing my money at the new KVD Beauty, which is what the heck did they rename it to? Something absolutely stupid. Kindness, vegan, doing good, whatever the heck it was. The new name is just ridiculous to me. But yeah, I feel comfortable throwing my money at them again. If they would only launch something that's relatively interesting. I saw their holiday launch post on like Trend Mood or something like that, and I was like, what the heck? That is so uninspired. I'll put a picture here so you can see what it looks like. But yeah, used to love the brand, stopped buying them when she became anti-vax, and now that she has nothing to do with them, I'm kind of like on board again, but they just need to launch something that's actually interesting, you know? Okay, anyway, that's enough babbling on. That is it for week 26 of my social isolation Get Ready With Me's. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you like the look. I'm really enamored with it, and I will see you next time. Bye.